How many pull-ups could I do? Honestly, I could probably do more pull-ups than push-ups. Seriously, I could probably do more pull-ups than push-ups. I actually used to do pull-ups and stuff like that when I used to work out. So those, honestly, those muscles are probably stronger than the push-ups. Seriously.
Doesn't make sense. Do I like being known as a tough guy in the FGC days? There was no such thing as a tough guy in the FGC. We were playing video games. No one was actually going to a Street Fighter tournament and beating each other up. It was a bunch of games. There was a ton of shit talking, okay? But I think some people sadly took it too far. I was one of them. Like, I would shit talk people in the early days of Street Fighter, like the early 2000s. I was an asshole. I was constantly ragging on people, being a dick online and stuff. Like, I was known for it.
And that's probably where the question comes from, DSP. Most people that shit talk amongst their friends are doing so because they've come to know each other. They've built rapport. I mean, it's like I said at the beginning of this sentence. They're friends. But you're in a competitive landscape at a fighting game tournament, and yes, it's just a game, but from what I've seen of your behavior, I'd be willing to bet that you talked more shit than you probably should have and couldn't take the shit talking back from others. This would have ostracized you or made you an outcast. When that happens, the shit talking will inevitably lead to a physical confrontation where a fight will break out. Or, in your case, you'll cry in the bathroom and blame alcoholism. But in classic DSP format, here's yet another time he could reflect on his previous behavior and change for the better, but we all know he won't.
And like I said, around the mid-2000s, when I actually started placing and doing well in tournaments, I kind of regretted my time as being that, because I was like, you know, I feel like it was harmful overall. Like, I thought, oh, no harm done, I'll talk shit, this will get people hyped for events, people will show up, they'll want to see grudge matches or whatever. Like, that was the point. But then people, like, genuinely, I found out, started to be really angry with me because of the stuff that I would say online. Like, damn, I didn't think people took it seriously. I guess they do.
You guess they do? Have you read your old forum posts? You're an absolute asshole. Truly reprehensible. Poe's Law is a thing, Phil. Phil has to have some kind of developmental disorder because I can't imagine that these tournaments were weekly, meaning you're seeing opponents, maybe every month at their height of popularity, sometimes 2 and 3 months apart, and DSP posts shit like this. For context's sake, this is an archive of posts from Super Combo. In a recent show, ALT, big ups obviously, educated me that System1 is the username given to persons who were banned. However, the known handle of Phil was Punisher with a 3 as the last E. Here we see that Punisher originally posted, "These are the saddest results I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen some sad results. I've seen Nightmare James win tournaments before." And someone responded with, "So let me get this straight. If I went, I would have gotten first or second in MVC2, second in CVS2, first in threes, probably first in TMNT, even though I haven't played the game since it was released, and probably second or third in GGXX, because I've only touched the games twice. Fucking sad. Next time you guys decide to throw a tournament, try being good at one of the games in the tourney beforehand." Now, while it's not possible to say with absolute certainty that the following is Phil, it does come immediately after the response, and the structure, syntax, and verbiage, to my eye, matches Phil when he says, quote, "Who the fuck is this asshammer? Hey, dipshit, the next tourney I throw, if you show up, how about I beat the shit out of your face for about 3 hours? Go fuck yourself. It's pretty easy to talk shit when you didn't even show up, you pussy." End quote. And Phil thinks what? Yeah, he totally thinks this is a joke. Tee-hee, no way someone's gonna want to fight me when they lay eyes on me after typing that. And I'm not saying words on the internet justify a fight. What I am saying is that Phil's memory must be a haze of gin and Burger King, because there's no way you remember saying stuff like this and think, oh no, that was no big deal. I can't believe people are taking offense.
And then, like I said, later on, when I became good at fighting games, actually, in the mid-2000s, and I was doing well at Super Turbo and placing at Evo, I was like, so now I kind of regret being an asshole, you know? But you don't really get it until you've been to a point that's better than that. You know what I'm saying? It very well could have been I never did anything in Street Fighter ever, and so I was just always a shit-talking asshole, and that was my whole run. But it just so happens I actually got good at one point. Not only was I placing, but I was running tournaments myself. I became a respected tournament organizer on the East Coast, running tons of tournaments and stuff. So yeah, but it's about what they say, hindsight's 20/20. When I was a young kid in my early 20s, I didn't think there was any harm to online shit talking. I thought it was a joke. I was like, why do people take this shit seriously? They're so dumb. They think because you're sitting on a forum or sitting in an IRC chat room talking shit that someone's like serious about, like, fighting or something. Like, what are you, dumb?
Oh, look, Phil wants carte blanche to say whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants, and if you take offense to what he's saying, it's your fault, and he's the victim. What a surprise. Also, I need a fact check here. I'm sure Phil was involved in running tournaments, but can anyone verify or point me to an evidence source that shows that Phil was the tournament organizer? Because that seems like it would take a level of self-sacrifice and coordination that Phil just doesn't possess.
I guess so, because people actually took it seriously and thought that like people were going to fight. Like, no, there's never going to be a giant fight where I was going to go to a tournament and beat people up, or they were going to beat me up. That wasn't going to happen. We didn't want to go to jail. We're stupid. No. See, here's the problem with old school Street Fighter. All right, in the 90s, everyone played Street Fighter on cabinets, and everyone played the same version of the game. So arguably, if you went to a tournament and you won, you were the best. But then what happened in the 2000s was that there was a conversion of all the competitive Street Fighter games to consoles, and when this happened, sadly, there was no real consensus on what was the best version of certain games. And the game that I was best at, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, never had a good console conversion that was accurate to the arcade. I mean, no exaggeration. There was PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2 from an early collection, and then I want to say there was a second collection later on that also was PS2, and then there was the Hyper Street Fighter 2 Anniversary Edition. So just within the 2000s, when I was attending tournaments for Super Turbo, you could play on any of 5 different versions of the game. And all of them played slightly differently, different tweaks, different, damage outputs, different hitboxes. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, no one could agree what was the right version. So you go to a tournament, it's on PS1, someone wins it. Oh, that doesn't count. That's PS1. Okay. Go to a tournament, that was Dreamcast. Oh, it doesn't count. That's Dreamcast. Well, what does count? When does it actually count? Because I'm not running the tournaments. I'm not picking the versions of the games that are played. I mean, fuck, Evo staff was. Evo was the one that picked the PS1 version of Super Turbo, right? So how are the players responsible if that's an inferior version?
The players aren't responsible, Phil, but let me put this into an analogy, okay? And I'm sorry, but no, it's not a sandwich shop. Now, what I'm about to talk about is second, third, or even fourth-hand knowledge, so my understanding or knowledge could be highly flawed. That being said, big ups, in the Army, there is the 75th Ranger Regiment, better known as, to us civilians, the Army Rangers. And Ranger School is a slog. I'm not going to say that it's the Army version of SEALs, because that would subtly imply SEALs are superior to Rangers, but, it's a spec ops school. Now, there are tests, marches, comprehensions, and all other manner of knowledge that a soldier must acquire to be a Ranger. But I hear there's another element. Away from the timed runs, graded tests, tactical proficiency, or other measurable pass-fail type examinations, it's your squad mates, the other men who aspire to be Rangers. If you are the best of the best of the best when it comes to the measurable stuff, and your entire team hates you, they can oust you. You have to show you can be a team player. You have to show that the man on your right and the man on your left mean more to you than even your own survival. And if you have enough teammates send the message up, not him, anyone but him, you'll be booted. That's what we have here in a non-military environment. I'm sure DSP is about to say that his 4th place EVO performance should be respected for what it was, but there's a problem, Phil. No one respects you. So even if it's a legit 4th place ranking, you have garnered enough animosity for people to want to explain your performance as a fluke because you're a horrible person. See, it's not about the technical win that you should be worried about. It's how did my behavior cause this amount of spite my direction?
I don't see how the point, but that's what every year it was a new excuse. Oh, you see, that's not the right version. Oh, you see, that's not the right version. Yet, meanwhile, people had kind of accepted the versions of games like Third Strike, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Capcom vs. SNK 2. Like those were commonly accepted as those are the versions you play in tournament. It was only Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo that had this weird issue that basically there's no version that's right. Okay, and every time it seems like someone would accept the new version, and then I would play that version, I would do well in it. Someone else would debunk it. Oh, no, that version sucks because I still remember. So there's a version of Super Turbo that came out. Everyone liked it. I think it was from like Capcom Classics Collection 2 or something like that it was called. So we start playing. I'm dominating in all tournaments. And then I think it was, I forget who it was, but someone did frame testing and says, oh, look, there's input delay, so this is no good. And it's like, well, then what the fuck are we going to play? Are we ever going to settle on a version? And actually, no, because then after that, then remember there was Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, and everyone played that for a few years. Said, oh, that sucks. That's terrible. We can't play that anymore, right? And then I guess now for Super Turbo, all they do is they emulate it. They run it on PC, emulate it, and that's how they play it now because that wasn't viable back then. Now it's viable, right? So I guess that's the answer now. But it's funny because you say, well, weren't you top 3? Well, yes. Technically, if you look at statistics and rankings. One Evo, I got 4th place, and the top 3 placers were from Japan. So technically, yes, I was the best American in Super Turbo that year. Oh, but that was PS1 version. That doesn't count. Okay, the next year, there was another version, and I literally went to all the qualifying tournaments. I won Evo East, and I was placing at all the qualifying tournaments. Oh, but that's Hyper Street Fighter 2. That's not full Super Turbo. That doesn't count. Okay, the next year, we picked the next version of Super Turbo. I'm winning. I won Evo East again. I'm going to other tournaments. I'm beating everyone. That year, 2007, I went to all the qualifying tournaments for Evo, and I either won or placed at most of them, to the point where I had like 5 spots at Evo. Because the way it worked is you would go to a qualifier tournament to get your spot at Evo. I had 5 fucking spots at Evo. So they had to basically give my spots away to people I beat in the tournaments because I had too many spots. Okay? But no one will talk about that, because that doesn't matter, because that was also a bad version of Super Turbo. You know, but I'm only playing what the tournament organizers are picking. So I'm sorry that people want to fucking have problems with this shit. I didn't run the tournament scene, complained to Evo staff that they kept picking bad versions of Super Turbo and wouldn't get the arcade version. That's not my fault. That's their fault, right? But anyway, can you argue that I was one of the best at Super Turbo in the United States at one point? Yes, you can. Mid-2000s, absolutely. I was at the top of my game, and I was one of the best in the United States. Could it ever be said I was the best? There's no way to fucking tell. There's literally no way to tell, because everyone just complained about every tournament result at the time and said none of them counted. So I guess nothing counted for the entire middle 2000s. No one could play Super Turbo.
How did we get into this Al Bundy-esque rant? Why does this matter? And even if it's true, DSP is still missing the lesson he should be learning. What did Phil think would happen if, say, the community came together and agreed, version X is the version that will be used at every tournament, and then Phil won the, I don't know, the Super Bowl tournament for Street Fighter? Does he think that people would have respected him? Does he think that the Good Old Boys Club would finally accept him because he won? That's not how the world works, Phil. You have the personality of a cheese grater, and no one wants you to rub up on them. Your entire existence is seemingly about validating your own worth through external praise. Unless people tell you you're super special and the bestest boy ever, you whine, complain, rage, and otherwise act like a child about how life isn't fair. Phil, the best medicine I could give you right now is the old philosophical adage, know thyself.
There you go. And then when HD Remix came out, that also sucked, so that doesn't count either, that era. Nothing counts, ever. Nothing counted until I retired. When I retired from competitive play, that's when things started to count, apparently. That's how it works. So anytime that I did well, never counts. But if I wasn't at a tournament, or I stopped playing, that all officially counts. As long as my name's not in the results, that's official. It's good stuff. Okay, so there you go. There's your answer. Yeah, I remember that. So that year, there was Evo East, there was Midwest Championships, there was Evo North, like North. I think it was Evo North, Evo East, Evo West, Evo South, and I want to say there was like a 5th. I could be wrong. But basically, I went to all of them. And I literally earned a spot at Evo at every single tournament. I didn't win them all. I won Evo East. And I think I won 2 of them, if I remember correctly. Or I got close. I know I lost an Evo North because it was on cabinet. And there was something that happened that threw me off. I don't know if that version was running differently than what I was used to. Because I remember something was off. I still did all right. I didn't do great. But I remember I went Evo East and even Evo West. Evo West, that was the year I beat Mike Watson. I beat a ton of people that year. I can't remember who else I beat that year. But I beat a ton of people in 2007. I think I beat Valle that year. I think that was the year I beat Watson and Valle, if I remember correctly. Because Valle and I are 1-1. Can't remember. I lose track. But yeah, I went to Evo West, the land of the best Super Turbo players in the world. And I made top 8. I think I made top 5 in the tournament. And I earned a spot at Evo from Evo West, even though I already had one because I won Evo East. I'm pretty sure I think I won Evo East and I either placed or won Evo South in Super Turbo. And then Evo North, I basically jobbed because it was on arcade cabinet and I wasn't used to it and I made mistakes and screwed up. The Evo West was on console and I did well. You know? But again, that never happened. It never counted, right? It's like, okay, whatever you say. Do I think Evo should be an American-only tournament? No, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Let a true warrior accepts all challengers. There's no exceptions to the rule. There's no criteria. If someone wants to step up, challenge, accept that challenge. Take them on, right? All comers. Doesn't matter what country you're from. I'll whoop your ass anywhere. Right? That's right.
I know, I let him cook for a while there, but I wanted that grandiose finish in there, that a true warrior accepts all challengers bit, followed by the, well, I was going to say chest beating, but he doesn't have a chest, so ribcage cover beating, I guess. Now, was he being facetious here? Likely, but I would argue it's equally likely that in his mind, he believes this. He believes that he's somehow a warrior in some twisted capacity. I mean, listen to his whole rant again. This is all he has. It's his only war story. He placed in Street Fighter tournaments. That's his invasion of Normandy. It's his title fight, his Super Bowl, his World Series, his Stanley Cup, and it's so very sad. Now, on that sad note, the man didn't label his video this time, but this last one came from Doody Streams, so big ups to him. But now we got one from Snort Hogan, making this once again a double feature.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort,
Hogan.
drip, snort, snort.
I got the drip. Anyway, all right, so thank you guys. Look at this. Look at this super chat. This is so ridiculous. I will respond to that because I'm doing shout outs. So let me get to it and I will respond to that because this is ridiculous. I've had enough at this point. All right. Have I not made it clear that I want absolutely positively nothing to do whatsoever with Detractor content? Have I not said this? How many times have I said this? Is this not the broken record? Right? I literally come here on my podcast over and over and I say, I want nothing to do with detractors or their content. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to be involved in it. I'm not involved in it. I actively ignore it. Correct? Have I not said this over and over and over here on this channel publicly to all of you, right?
Right, Phil, but then again, you talk about Doody Streams, Keemstar, Turkey Tom, Stuttering Craig, and, well, all the side-scrollers, former included. You talk about Wings and Boogie, maybe not directly, but you talk about people, the detractors, constantly. You've also been shown and known to strike detractor content because you have a packing peanut for a brain and didn't understand fair use. I mean, remember when you called your videos art? And that making This Is How You Don't plays was tantamount to attempted murder? So you can say you don't involve yourself with detractor content, but until you actually stop talking and involving yourself in detractor content, the court of public opinion will not be changing its ruling.
My stance has not changed. All right? So I don't care about this nonsense going on outside. I'll get to it because that was a super chat. I will directly respond to it now because we'll have time to respond to it. This would be the appropriate time to respond to it. I will respond to it in a minute when it pops up. All right, let's go through the order, the proper order here. Okay, so no worries. You're going to get your answer. You're going to get your attention this morning, and then we're going to move on from it, and I'm going to wipe my hands of this nonsense, okay? Now, here we go. Now I will address this, okay? Happii Gamer Studios did a $10 super chat, all right? I'm just going to read this word for word, and then I'm going to give you my honest response to it, okay? Hi, Phil. Love the show. You're actively avoiding me after DMCA striking my game, The Detractor, on Steam. Excuse me. I thought you said your work is okay to use if it's transformative. Don't be a coward. Thanks, Happy Face. Oh my God. You fucking people. I swear to God, you fucking people never learn. Right? Have I not said 1 zillion times on this show and in my content, I want nothing to do with you, your content, your trolling, your bullshit, whatever it may be. I don't want to be pulled into your vortex of nonsense, okay? I have nothing to do with anything you're talking about. Zero. Nothing to do with it whatsoever. What I've seen is there's people coming on in the last week saying there's a game that you're in and it's a detractor game, and what do you think about that? I don't care. I ignore it. I have nothing to fucking do with it. I have more things to do in my life. I'm so busy. I don't have time to worry about your dumb shit.
So I've mentioned indicators of deception in the past, which we'll talk more about in a moment, but first let's go over the super chat and how an honest person would likely answer. Hi Phil, love the show. You're actively avoiding me after DMCA striking my game, The Detractor, on Steam. I thought you said your work is okay to use if it's transformative. Don't be a coward. Thanks. So, you're DMCA striking my game. No, I am not. If you provide the date of the claim, I'll happily show you a search of the word Detractor, DMCA, or Steam in my email inbox and send it to you immediately. I thought you said your work is okay to use if it's transformative. It is, or it isn't, and then explain why, briefly. Don't be a coward. Thanks. I'm not being a coward. Let's set up a call sometime to hash this out. See, these are direct statements or examples which stand on their own. They don't need qualifiers. They don't need supporting statements to help them be believable. They just are. Meanwhile, DSPA starts with a defensive "you fucking people," as though the incredulity makes him more trustworthy. Then states that he's stated a zillion times that he wants nothing to do with you, your content, eventually stating, I have nothing to do with anything you're talking about. This is odd, because the statement, I want nothing to do with you, your content, has no impact on the assertion that he DMCA'd Happii's game. It's a nothing statement. However, he eventually states, I have nothing to do with anything you're talking about, which is a denial. But again, the incredulity is misplaced. The issue shouldn't be that someone is accusing you of DMCAing their game, but how is someone mistakenly accusing you? Someone's lying about you, Phil. Why are you upset at the content creator if you don't care about their content, and why aren't you upset that somebody is using your name? The most damning bit is at the end, the "I'm too busy" statement. This is again a supplemental statement, and unnecessary if the truth is being spoken. So from the word go, all sorts of alarm bells are going off in my head, all of which telling me, this man is lying about something.
You are the least important thing to me on this fucking planet. I don't want to know about what so-and-so said in a video, what documentary is coming out, what video game that makes fun of me is coming out. No one with a brain fucking cares. It's the same circle-jerking, mouth-drooling, mentally challenged group of people who like that shit. No one who's normal and has an actual life outside of sitting in front of their fucking computers all day cares about that shit. Do you understand me? So I want nothing to do with it. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't strike anything. I didn't do anything. I want you to take your super chat and I want you to shove it up your ass. Okay? I'm done being involved with Detractor shit. I've told you this a million times. It's not me. Here's what you really need to do. Look at your community of fucking really antisocial losers and wonder why they keep striking each other's content down. I said it. I just did it in February. I did the usual annual video. I don't strike stuff. I'm not involved. So why the fuck do you keep bringing it up and making accusations and content? I have literally never been fucking involved in any of this, ever. This is your own community striking each other down for attention. And it seems to fucking work because look what's going on now, right? Here's what you do. If you get any kind of a DMCA takedown or a strike from me, you know it's not me because I don't do them. I never have. I don't care. I just sit here playing games all fucking day. All right? I just don't want to have anything to do with you. So stop bringing me up. You know how abusable DMCA is. How many people have been taken down falsely with basic information about me? My name, my address, my phone number, and an email address is apparently enough for impersonation for DMCA takedowns. I don't stand for it. I have publicly said over and over and over, I don't want anyone taking anything down in my name, but I'm not involved in it. And every single time that this process happens, I can't do anything about it. I've literally contacted YouTube. I've contacted Twitter. They don't care. You want to know what their attitude is? Get a lawyer. That's what their attitude is. Not to me. To you, the people who are having your content taken down. That's what I've been directly told. Tell them to get a lawyer and seek legal help with it because you can't help them if you didn't do the takedown.
I suppose I could understand the frustration of being falsely accused, but it still feels like misplaced anger. This whole rant about how it's someone in your community, go look there, etc., well, that feels a lot like gaslighting. And having pre-watched this, we'll go into it more in depth momentarily, but the claim of "it's not me" is not a legal statement. It's not under oath, and you can say it all you want. I've looked at the DMCA form, and an email address is an absolute requirement for a claim. So, an offline chat could occur where Happii tells Phil, hey, this is the email address. Email address X is being used to make this claim. Phil could then outright deny ownership of that email address, or if it is the email address that he uses, he could then look for said email, it could have gotten lost in spam, and then stop the claim. But, as we'll soon see, words are easier, especially when they hold no legal weight in court.
So there you go. Get a lawyer, contact the appropriate party, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Steam, whatever the fuck it is, and say, I think this is DMCA takedown's false. I want it removed. And they should. All right? But I'm not involved in this. I have nothing whatsoever to do with it. Stop bothering me about it. Really, at this point, I've had fucking enough. To this point, I'm not even gonna address it anymore. If I see a super chat, I'm just gonna ban you fucking outright because it's never me. Do you understand? It's literally never me. I tried ignoring it all fucking week. All right? All week. And you guys fucking keep bothering me. All right? I'm done with it. Here's what you do. You want to know the truth? Here's what you do. Leave the detractor communities because it's obvious they don't care about abiding by the law. They literally strike each other down in every way, shape, and form to cause more drama. Why? Because they're just trolls who want attention. So every time that you've done this and publicly addressed it, all right, you've given them exactly what they want by freaking out, saying, Phil took down my game. I didn't. So you created a situation that gave them the attention they wanted. You fed the trolls, and now guess what? They're just going to keep doing it over and over because you gave them what they want. What's hilarious is you're obviously a troll if you made a game that's negative about me, but you don't even understand how fucking trolling works. You're an idiot. Oh my God.
Now before we get to the meat and potatoes, let's draw attention to this fact. Phil is saying he didn't do it. This makes both Happii and Phil victims. Happii is a victim having his content removed from Steam, and Phil is a victim of identity theft. Phil, being a victim all the time, should be able to sympathize with Happii. You know, treat those as you wish to be treated. What does Phil do, though? Insults him. Tells Happii he's an idiot. Such a robust community Phil is creating, no?
Are you ready? Here is your official statement. I, Phil Burnell, on this day of May 8th, 2024, once again publicly state I have not issued any DMCA takedowns against any videos, any tweets, any games, or any content on the internet. I don't know who's doing it, but if someone has done it, they've done it in my name, which is against the law. It is fraud, and these should not be taken seriously. However, it seems that companies don't have any safeguards set up for this level of impersonation, and they don't care. I've been outright told by companies like YouTube that the only way to solve it is to get a lawyer. So I'm sorry it's happening, but it's not me. Leave me alone. Have a nice day. There you go. I'm done with it. Do not bring it up in my chat again. It is against the rules to bring up Detractor content in my chat, so don't fucking bother me again. You understand? I'm laying down the law on this bullshit. I've had enough. Like, you really start to piss me off when I have to waste a segment on my podcast about your bullshit because you're an idiot who made a negative game and you're surprised that other negative people are fucking with you. Yes, because you're an idiot. Because you made a negative game, so people are going to fuck with you. They already have on people's YouTube channels and Twitter. Why wouldn't they fuck with you with the game? Are you stupid? Yes. Now deal with your stupidity and leave me the fuck alone. Okay. Back to normalcy now, everyone. Let's get back on track. Chill Vibes became a member this morning and says, relax your shoulders, Phil. You're right. I got upset. I should relax my shoulders, okay? I should. Oh my God. Happy Gamer Studios, I don't know what email you're talking about. Go fuck yourself. Enjoy your band. Don't come back. They're still talking in my chat. Well, can you write me an email? No, you can eat my ass.
I'm a scat man.
That's what you can do. You can eat directly out of my butthole.
I'm a scat man.
I'll mail you the spoon.
And for my audio-style listeners, here's the chat that got Happii banned. Quote, thanks, smiley face. If you could respond to that email saying that in writing, thanks. You're the best, end quote. This implies that Happii sent an email to Phil and is looking for a paper trail saying Phil's known email address is willing to state he didn't DMCA strike anyone, and this could be because, if the DMCA claim is false, that the person doing the fake strike used Phil's real email address. Having an email from that email address saying that the DMCA was not issued by the account holder would go miles in speeding up the proceedings, I'm sure. But Phil can't be bothered to do that, and instead maturely tells Happii to eat the shit out of his ass. In the words of Queen Gertrude, in this case to the bitch that is Phil Burnell, the lady doth protest too much, methinks. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, or otherwise trying to make YouTube love me. Big ups to both Snort, Hogan, and Doody streams for the clips. I appreciate it. And of course, big ups to all my members, newbies, neophytes, and gym rats alike. I appreciate you all. Until next time, swallows the goal for a troll. Lift heavy, eat clean. I wonder if Phil gets this level of perturbed being accused of anything else. Sir, I clocked you going 65 and a 55. Do you have any legal justification for this speed?
No, you can eat my ass. That's what you can do. You can eat directly out of my butthole. I'll mail you the spoon.